I knew about the Pilatus and its capabilities, but I was just gung-ho for the Eclipse 500 at that time. And all my buddies were saying, you need a Pilatus for what you want to do.
We kept seeing Pilatus on the tarmac, and Mike would say, oh, there's a Pilatus. Wow, those are so cool. Let's go look at it. And we'd go take a peek.
It could get in and out of very small airports. And for me, getting to be about 65 years old, I was also wanting a plane that I could fly even in my 80s. And the PC-12 lands like a Cessna 182. It is very, very easy to land, and so that was a big consideration. It has a huge cargo door, and because it has such a huge cargo door, we're able to configure it with the pilot and co-pilot and then 4 luxury seats. And then the whole back end is filled with cargo.
With hiking
gear and pads and sleeping bags and food skis and
rafts.
We considered it a very safe airplane in terms of what was available because it lands at such a slow speed. A lot of times I'm landing at under 70 knots. The NG in particular was the entire glass panel that it had. It is extremely easy to program and to fly because once you get used to it, it's different than the Garmin, but it's very intuitive after you've used it for just a month or two. I don't go into the great big fields most of the time. Half of our landings are at fields of 2,500 to 3,000 feet, and we've even had it on grass and gravel.
And we're always flying into airports that are unfamiliar to us. We do that all the time. So it's very nice to have the glass panel and the avionics and the paperless cockpit, and we're very comfortable with the way that the glass panel works and looks and feels. It's great.
We fly from Vegas to Sandpoint, that's only 3 hours. We fly up to Seattle, that's only 3 hours. We fly to Moline, that's about 4.5 hours. There's not a real need for it, but one time we went all the way to South Carolina, still had plenty of gas. We were in Lake Tahoe with my brother and his wife, so the 4 of us got in the plane about 6 in the morning, flew to St. George, Utah, went down the Narrows in Zion National Park that day and half the next day, got back in the plane and flew back to Tahoe, saw them for a day and then came back here. Now we're here with you before we probably head off to Phoenix to play golf in the morning.
Dragging all of our camping gear in and out of the big cargo door, so tents and sleeping bags and backpacks and all that kind of stuff with a lot of ease when you're doing that in the dark and in the morning and at 10 o'clock at night. I love that cargo door.
With 7 people, 1,100 pounds of gear including 2 rafts, provisions for a week and all the camping and tents and all like that, and flown a couple of hops up to Seattle and then from Seattle all the way to Haines, Alaska, dropped it into a field that was about 2,000 feet long and stayed there for the 8 days to the adventure, and then were able to come back with the full crew. So that's one of the big features.
I feel very safe in this plane. I do SimCom with Mike every year, and I had done simulated landings several times, and the instructor down there finally said, well, you've landed the plane so well on the simulator, why don't we take this thing up and see if you can actually land it? So we had to put Mike in the back of the plane and put some duct tape on his mouth and tie him down to keep him quiet. But I actually landed the plane with the instructor pilot down in Orlando.
I invited my pilot training buddies from 40 years ago to come from Norway and from New York to, with their wives, to enjoy the national parks. And we flew it to 10 national parks in about 21 days. And we had it loaded to the gills. The 6 people were in luxury seats, and all of their gear for that whole 21 days was in the back. They loved it, we loved it, and we couldn't have done it with any other plane that I know.